Hey everybody, how you doing? Oliver Joyce from Whiskeybarrel Studios here. Another Sword and Sandals update for, oh my gosh, 15th of September. 9 months into the year, and my gosh, we're probably, a year and 9 months into development of the game. The longest development I've ever had of any Sword and Sandals game now. I think on par with Sword and Sandals 5 and the multiplayer of that, the original one, but that was a different situation many years ago. So this is sort of the longest concerted effort I've ever spent on one game. And of course, we're still in the early access period for the game. But we are starting to wrap things up. As I released, just 2 weeks ago, or maybe even less, the huge new patch 0.6, which added all the different rules into the game. I hope you're enjoying those, all the tag team rules, the spike pits, the turn limits, the no magic, that really mixed the game up. I've had a lot of good feedback about those and a lot of bug reports. So I do want to apologize to you if you were playing the game over the last few weeks and you encountered some crashes and glitches and weirdness. I've ironed most of that out now over a number of patches. So I do recommend you check it out again if you did have some issues. That was a huge amount of work to get that all in. It was really kind of hacky and I really had to sort of wrangle the code a bit to get it all working. But I'm happy that that's in there. And now we can start to focus on the end game, finally. So what I've been waiting for is artwork for the last couple of Arena Champions before I can move on to the Starbound Gladiator and so on. I've almost got them. I've got one more armor set to put into the game, one that's just come in and another that's shortly about to arrive. And then that's 2 more Grand Champions. Then we will fight, of course, the Starbound Gladiator. And as part of that process, so I'm thinking probably 2 weeks, probably no more than. So I'm really hoping end of the month you'll be able to, play the game from start to finish and try your luck against the big bad guy. But as part of that process, I've been working on the end game animations. And if you've played the game, you've probably seen the 300 days ending where you run out of time and then the Starbound Gladiator, spoiler alert, the Starbound Gladiator fights Emperor Cygnus and defeats him, and you see that ending. There are also 2 other endings I'm working on right now. The good ending, where if you win the game and defeat the Starbound Gladiator, you have a cool ending, and the bad ending, where if you defeat the Starbound Gladiator and you are evil, you get a different kind of ending. If you lose the Starbound Gladiator, you pretty much see a slight variation on the ending that you see when someone else loses to him. So it's complicated. As you can see, there's a number of paths and things I've had to work on. I've been streamlining the code for that because it was all a bit of a mess as well in terms of I'd built sort of 4 or 5 different cutscene bits of code and so on, and I realized, I'm doing this again and again and again. I need to actually just consolidate this into one bit of code that allows me to do cutscenes quicker and quicker, because there are more cutscenes than I expected to put in the game, and more to come as well. There'll be more dialogue from the shopkeepers and sort of incidental along the way kind of plot development dialogue coming as well. I want to sort of add that in. It's not core to the game, and so it hasn't been a huge priority, but that will be coming out real soon. But right now, I also want to show you something else cool. As part of the in-game animation process, I've been improving the in-game cutscene art. So we're going to jump over the paint program now, and I'll show you what I mean. So what I have here is the Doomtrek Arrival artwork, and you see this when you challenge the Grand Champion. And it's an interesting piece, right? It looks kind of oil paintingly, right? It's using this sort of tilt shift filter, which I've put on a lot of the images. You can see sort of weirdness in the buildings. Almost, it looked like they've been done by oil painting. It's not actually bad. It's not the worst example of some of the in-game artwork, but it does look kind of almost dream sequence and not quite human. And there's a reason for that. This was actually AI generated art, which I've modified in a paint program, and I added the arena myself and did some trickery to get that all working. But it does look a little too sort of lo-fi and dreamlike, and you can see with a lot of the Homeland backgrounds as well, they suffer from that same thing as well. And it didn't quite look like finished art to me. So I've actually replaced it. Now check out the new Doom Trek intro scene. Aha. Much more vibrant and colorful. You got a big crashing wave there. Beautiful rocks there. If I sort of hide myself, you can see the whole picture there. And the arena sitting on top. And much more sort of reminiscent of the Swords and Sandals 2 Redux Doom Trek with a much taller mountain and everything. And beautiful waves and sunset. This, to me, is much closer in terms of the vision of what I wanted for the art. So I've been happy to be able to improve that. I'll give you another example. Quick spoiler alert for those who haven't played the game through to even seeing the 300 days ending. If you don't want the end game spoiled, the artwork spoiled, just look away now for the next sort of minute and a half. For those who want to continue, let's go. Okay, this here is the Constellation Mirror artwork, and the Constellation Mirror is that giant portal that sits on an island in Lake Kavaldar in Fator. Now, this is basically the reason for Brandor existing. This is the portal that opens every 50 years, and the interesting creatures and starships and monsters and beings from all around the world, or probably around the universe, end up on the planet of Tritonia. And you can go to swordsandsandals.com to learn more about that. But it features in this game because this is where the big baddie, the Malevolence, will come through, and the Starbound Gladiator's ultimate aim is to, get him through. So this old artwork, it was put together in a paint program, and it looks fine. That looks kind of flat. It's not too bad. I kind of like the perspective, but it was really a mix of different things, and I wasn't unhappy with it, and I would have been fine. But let's check out the new one. Here's the new one, which looks much more, I feel like, imposing and, a better composition. You can see little sparks of light as the sun goes down. You can see our gladiator, and you can see, beautiful long grass. It's more in line with what the vision was. And I can show you as well what this looks like at night. So the afternoon pick and then the early evening pick, and you can see through there, and this actually has a cool filter on it when you actually see it in the game, sort of stars shimmering and the portal opening, and then of course really eerie looking red sort of doomsday scenario where the Malevolence is actually coming through. So I'm much happier with the atmosphere and the ambience of this new artwork, and I hope you guys like it too. Okay, one more example I want to show you from something that's not in the game yet. This is called the Obelisk of Heroes, which shows off some great heroes from real life and from the world of Brandor as well, which give you certain little perks and so on. But I'm going to be adding that quite late in the early access program. But this is actually some art that, believe it or not, I had commissioned by an artist who promised one thing and his portfolio showed one thing, but the end result did not live up to it. And this looks very much like a really rough watercolor sketch. And, I wasn't happy with it, but I kind of went, well, all right, it's done now. Too bad. It just looks like really rough placeholder art. And so I almost decided, well, I'm not going to have that in the game because I don't want to, commission it again because it's expensive to get background art commissioned and so on. So I was pretty unhappy with it. And this is after I improved it by adding in this shadow. But let's check out the new one. Much cooler, right? Much more imposing and in line with my original vision. So that'll be coming to the game later this year. Just a small thing, but a fun thing. And this looks so much cooler. So you'll also see a lot more of the in-game art looking like this. The homeland backgrounds, which have that weird sort of AI-generated dreamlike substance kind of feel, they'll all be improved dramatically, and grammatically, and much more worthy of being in the game than what they were before. So over the next month, I'm going to be rolling those new bits of art out for you guys. All right. I just want to give a quick shout out to this hardy bunch, these legends of Patreon, my Patreon supporters: Sovereign's Monarchy, Pookie, Barty X, Cheese Chow, Brandon K, Davi Hollander, Ilya Gurovich, Timmy Boy, XUp Omega, Jeffro of Hex 3D, Hopeless, Eunice, Neighbor Jack, Noah Gudajan, and Hypach. Try saying those all quickly. But these guys are great. They've been supporting me for quite a while now. And if you want to see your name up there and get access to special newsletters every week, and sometimes I give you guys special keys like the Sword and Sandals Immortals soundtrack key and other bits and pieces, then you can join my Patreon too, and you'll have my eternal gratitude. Look, only if it's some money you have to spare. I wouldn't, spend your food money or your coffee money or anything on it. But if you just like to support the project and my work, then it is hugely appreciated. And as the Armourer always says,
if you'd like to be a Patreon, that would make my day.
It would take a lot to make Thargon's day, but you could be the one to do it. God. All right, that's about it for today. Yeah, working on the in-game animations over the next week and a half. We'll see some new Arena champions next week, and then the next 2 weeks or so, we should start seeing the very end game Starband Gladiator stuff. Very exciting. And then in October, I'll be getting on with the observatories and the dungeon battles. Probably dungeons first and observatories last, because everyone wants the dungeons. They get so much feedback, information, and email requests about the dungeons that I haven't even started on yet. But I've just had the priorities of, getting everything else done before that. And of course, multiplayer is being developed concurrently. My guy over in Toronto, Canada, is working hard on that. And I'm having a meeting with him next week to talk further about that. And that will be ready before the end of the year. I can pretty much assure you of that. So lots to come in this early access period. Thanks for your patience, because it is a huge project and, not without its wrinkles and bugs and so on. But I really think that with every patch, it's getting better and better. And I'm loving the feedback you guys have been providing and the support, because it can be a bit exhausting making this game for so long. And, part of me wants to just rush out and start a new game. I'd love to do that next year, but I know I have to stay the course with this one, make it the best game I can, and see it through to completion. And I've promised myself and I promised you guys I would do that, and we will get there. I'm looking at probably January, February maximum to wrap this all up. So the wait will not be too long. All right, my friends, like and subscribe. You know the drill. Videos have been fairly infrequent, but whenever there's new content for the game, I will be updating these videos on the channel, letting you know. Have a great weekend coming up, almost weekend, and look after yourselves, my friends, and bye for now.